Have you ever watched Thomas the Tank Engine as a little kid? Then you might have watched the Ghost Train episode. If you haven't, then here's a summary of the plot. Percy tells Thomas a ghost story, and when Thomas wasn't scared, Percy later has an accident that makes him all white and pretends to be a ghost to scare Thomas. Seems kid-friendly, but there's one rather morbid thing about it. There was a missing scene at the beginning of the episode that was a little too creepy for kids to see. If you search the episode up on YouTube, the first thing that'll hit you is the opening. If you want to see it, then I'll put the episode up here for you now. People know because when the episode first aired, it showed the deleted scene. Little kids were unlucky to see it back then. At the time, I watched it with my son. The scene starts out with a bunch of humans boarding a locomotive. He was silver. His model was similar to Thomas. His face was different. He had very round eyes, a broad smile, little wrinkles at the end of his mouth, with silver paint as well. He had the number 0 on his sides, so this might have been the first train on the railway. When all the passengers got on board, he steamed away. "All steam ahead, Timothy," his driver shouted at him. "Sure thing," Timothy replied. Then it showed a creepy nighttime view of the docks. Timothy was speeding through this place like the world was ending. They were coming to their first stop, but when the driver tried to pull the brakes, Timothy kept going as fast as he could. "Timothy, what are you doing?" his driver shouted. It later showed his face. He had the most sinister, deranged look on it. It later showed him heading towards a cliff. "Timothy, don't! You'll kill us all," his driver said. It showed Timothy's face again. His eyes were pitch black. My son ran over to me crying and having me and looking away from the TV, but I kept watching. Timothy said something, but his voice was so deep and warped at the point that I couldn't understand a thing that he was saying. The cliff he was heading to. It showed the cliff that he was heading to, and he was inches away from it. Before he did, the scene later cut to a view of other sites on Sodor. I could remember seeing an abandoned junkyard, a spooky forest, and a view of the moon, but you could still hear the screams of the people on board as they fell to their deaths. It cut to the ghost part where the ghost train was on the bridge. The reason this was removed was parents complained about it not being kid-friendly, and I agree. I searched all over the internet for the missing scene, but I found nothing. Contact me if you have.